The inquiry into the Telford grooming scandal has revealed some alarming but depressingly predictable facts. Thousands of young white girls were groomed, pimped out, raped, beaten, and worse. And their abuse dragged on for years as the police and wider authorities ignored it or even blamed the victims. As ever, the left has remained alarmingly silent on this case. And the fact that all those who should have stopped it were motivated by the political correctness which the left have pushed for years should also send out serious alarm bells. They'd rather let children go on being abused than risk anyone accusing them of racism. Where white perpetrators would have been thoroughly investigated, suspects from Pakistan were ignored, given a green light to carry on with their sordid activities. And these attacks are still going on, as is the reticence of the media. The BBC reported that the crimes continued because of nervousness about race. But in their extensive account of the affair, they too refrained from using the words Muslim or Pakistan. Yet the same organisation was quick to post racial abuse at the women's national football team in their moment of their greatest triumph. All of this is depressingly predictable too. These people are so obsessed with defending multiculturalism that they've lost sight of any real values or morality. Turning a blind eye was considered preferable to protecting the child victims of sickening crimes. In the hierarchies of victimhood, white working class girls, some as young as 12, are irrelevant. Not when placed against the interests of shielding the middle-aged thugs, rapists and paedophiles who are abusing them. And these are the people who tell us they're on the right side of history, that they hold the moral and intellectual high ground. What happened in Telford has, of course, been repeated across the country. Rotherham, Huddersfield, Bolton, Bradford, Newcastle, Rochdale, Oxford, Derby, Banbury, Peterborough, Burton-on-Trent, Keighley, Halifax, Aylesbury, Blackpool, Manchester, Bristol. It's a list that should shame those in denial. Yet they seem immune to doubt. No lessons will be learned from this, and more tragedies will come, and the left will ignore them too. And this dance has been going on for decades, and these crimes reach horrifying levels. Yet when Sarah Champion tried to bring the issue to light, she was sacked by Jeremy Corbyn and replaced as Equalities Minister by Naz Shah, who liked and shared a tweet sneering that those abused girls in Rotherham need to shut their mouths for the good of diversity. Naturally, Corbyn took no action against her. In fact, Shah was promoted. You really couldn't make it up. The latest report highlighted, among many others, the case of Lucy Lowe. She had been impregnated at 14 by Azhar Ali Mahmood, and when she was 16, she was killed, along with her mother and 17-year-old sister, when Mahmood burned their house down. Even as she burned to death, Lucy was pregnant with Mahmood's second child. And the political correctness foisted on us by the left has hampered numerous investigations, on grounds of race, but on other grounds too. Let's take the case of 16-month-old Star Hobson. The little girl had suffered catastrophic injuries over a protracted period of time. But social workers were reluctant to intervene because Star was being cared for by a lesbian couple, and they were scared of being accused of homophobia. Star's mother, Frankie Smith, was living with her partner, Savannah Brockhill. And the reticence of the social workers in Keighley, West Yorkshire, allowed the pair to continue pummelling the toddler for months, until she was finally beaten to death. Numerous complaints had been made about the couple, but social services had dismissed all of them as inspired by homophobia. And this has been going on for decades. After Victoria Climbie was killed in 1999, serious questions were asked. Little Victoria, from the Ivory Coast, lived in London with her great-aunt, Marie Theresa Kouao, and Kouao's boyfriend, Carl Manning. Victoria was scalded with boiling water, burned with cigarettes, and forced to sleep in a bin liner filled with her own excrement in an unheated bathroom. She was forced to eat like a dog and was repeatedly beaten with hammers, bike chains and fists. Marie had taken young relatives from the Ivory Coast, promising their parents that they would have a better life in Europe. But in reality, she simply used the children to wring benefits out of the state. After serious abuse, Victoria was eventually taken to hospital, where staff informed the authorities. But the policewoman and the social worker, both black themselves, believed Marie's explanation. Neither of them met or spoke to the child, or even looked at any photographs, and Victoria was given back to her tyrannical aunt. So the concerned doctor wrote again, and social services dispatched the same social worker. After a cursory visit, where she never asked to see Victoria, she never went back, and the little girl was dead 2 months later. When the case received widespread publicity, The Guardian naturally defended the policewoman and social worker as having been scapegoated. The Guardian, of course, is schooled in the tenets of racial thinking, and all the others involved in this case were too afraid of being called racist to act. Even the policewoman and social worker, who didn't want to risk being called Uncle Toms. This case prompted much hand-wringing and an extensive report, which has been ignored in the 20-plus years since its publication. And of course, there's the case of Salman Abedi. A number of security guards saw him behaving suspiciously at the Ariana Grande concert in Manchester in 2017. But they too were fearful of being called racist. So they said nothing. And the bomb he exploded ripped through 1,000 concert goers, mostly young girls, injuring them all, scarring them for life with the horrific memories, and killing 22. More young lives sacrificed at the altar of political correctness. How many more must die before this pernicious worldview is junked? Because we will continue to see cases like this, and the purveyors of political correctness, who cause this situation, will continue to ignore their complicity, while berating us for our intolerance or our racism, even as they turn a blind eye to the hell they've created, and the children destroyed by their utopian narcissism. The road to hell really is paved with good intentions. If you'd like to support this channel, please like, subscribe, and think about buying my books. They go into topics like this in much greater detail. They're called The Tyranny of the Left, and they're available on the links below. Please do feel free to pick them up and let me know what you think. Thank you.